Doesn't us being here now mean it never happened?
So I've finally been able to see Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and I have a lot of thoughts surrounding what I saw. More than anything, it was an experience that cannot be rated nor reviewed fully on its first watch, unless you have an incredibly high IQ and have worked out every little detail in the film. However, this particular review will contain my initial spoiler-free thoughts, so if you do happen to be in the waiting line to watch Tenet, I assure you that I won't be spoiling any of the main plotline in this video. If you want to see more on the film, including video essays with spoilers in the coming weeks, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this first upload on the film, remember to give it a like rating. Without further ado, let's dive into my spoiler-free review for Christopher Nolan's Tenet. So what do you get when you take a director who has been at the peak of his career for over a decade now and seems to show no signs of declining or slowing down, and you give them full artistic and creative freedom to plot out their biggest ambition yet? You get a wholly unique, original, mind-bending twist on the concept of time and the spy genre. You get a epic, globe-trotting, genre-bending, spy-inspired puzzle box that is an insane masterclass of filmmaking, which is essentially the kind of film you'd expect from Christopher Nolan, even though he's operating well beyond his own comfort zones. Now, Tenet is a film that I personally wasn't ready for. You go in expecting something along the lines of Inception, in that the protagonist would have an emotional backstory that threads throughout the concept of the film. However, Tenet is very much as I described on my community feed yesterday. It's a film which is meant to be experienced through its innovative action and the in-the-moment effect of characters that you know very little about, who react to extreme situations. They are ultimately forced, like the audience, to get around what is being thrown at them. As I said yesterday, this is going to be a weird take, but in my eyes, Tenet is Nolan's Mad Max Fury Road. Right from the get-go, you jump on the ride of the film and it doesn't let you go. Now, depending on what you expect, your review may be different. There is emotion, there is heart in the story, but it's not focused on that. Tenet is focused on making you question the events of the narrative, but also experiencing them as film viewers. It is an experiential piece of cinema that I think will only have a definitive answer on whether we like the story or not after many watches. To start with the many positives I have, the film is a truly insane achievement. Not just how Nolan, the cast and crew have managed to actually film this movie, but in how Nolan even wrote and thought of the film's plot. There are no spoilers here, but with the concept of inversion, the reversed entropy of an object or person as defined in the study of quantum physics, Nolan pulls off one of the most ambitious yet difficult concepts he's put to the big screen. He does this in true Nolan fashion, as the film is engrossing to watch with the IMAX footage that was shot by DP Hoyt van Hoytema and through the editing by Jennifer Lame, who had an insane challenge to edit this film. They execute these jobs in perfect harmony with Nolan, forming quite the whole and successively ambitious work that will truly captivate audiences even if they leave the cinema slightly disappointed towards the backstory of certain characters or the less emotional involvement from the protagonist. Beyond the what should be impossible stunt work and the Nolan-sized practical sets that bring a full sense of grounded realism to the film, it's brought to life by a cast who fit in so well with each other. From the chemistry between John David and Robert Pattinson, Debicki and Branagh, they all deliver in unique ways. Debicki in particular brings a strong but vulnerable performance that in the end shines a light on her character's strengths. Robert Pattinson's Neil has a cool, calm, sleek demeanour that brings life to the story, comedy and theatrics to the events. John David Washington, even though I was initially struggling to get on board with his character, eventually deserves praise for not just a character who can endure pain, but one that has charm and also raw adrenaline-filled physicality that he brings to the role. He embodies this in all of his action scenes with eagerness, passion, and hard-working determination. I believe that he is going to become a star who aims for big things, which is ultimately what he deserves. He's a much different actor and performer from his dad, much more his own version of cold meets warmth, and his physicality just eagerly transcends his acting into a physical realm that is nothing but impressive. Now, many people may disagree, but I also really enjoyed Kenneth Branagh's Sator too. I thought his ruthlessness and the way he carried out certain things in the film was a cool twist on the idea of a Bond villain. I think he's a character that's, like a lot of things in this film, will grow with rewatches, and you will really see the extent at which his character goes to. I have to further mention one of the major defining highlights of the film, which is the score from Ludwig Göransson. It's a massive part of the film's cold meets warm mood, its blasting action, its cathartic themes, and its overall tone. It's a great balance of narrative and action. His work is almost so immersive that it becomes part of the scenes you watch. It's also very different from Hans Zimmer in that with his work you remember particular tracks and music from scenes that you will listen to afterwards. With Göransson, you get a score that is more concerned with filling the scenes and fitting seamlessly into the film. Both have done a great job under Nolan, and the music is once again a huge part of this film. Now, I am speaking in a more objective fashion with these points because I feel that Tenet is an experience that makes you feel quite overwhelmed, and you come out thinking about the ambition, the passion, the curiosity, and genius behind the making of this work. It's almost a poetic experience coming back to cinemas and watching a Nolan film like this in IMAX. He's once again aimed for as big and bold as he can take a project, and probably further beyond once I rewatch the film multiple times. Now, I did have a few negatives with the film, and these were brief and ultimately questionable when it comes to watching the film more. Many people I've spoken to who have seen Tenet multiple times have said that the issues you have after watching the first screening tend to become less obvious on a second viewing, and you start to piece together more effectively the puzzle that Nolan has laid out. After my initial watch, the main negative that I can think of is the sound mixing. Now, people have said that on rewatch this becomes less of an issue, but on my first watch it did seem like the audio was raised in parts over character communication, and in some scenes it did feel a bit out of place. I'll have to see how this changes when I watch the film again, but it was an obvious negative the first time around. The second negative I have, which again is something that I keep questioning whether it's actually a negative based on the particular approach to the film, is the backstory of John David Washington's character. After having a day to think about what I saw, this has become less of a negative I have with the film, simply because its plot is one that places you into the shoes of almost essentially a blank canvas. It pushes the audience into this situation just like the main character, and having even more dialogue about where a character has been and his emotional connection to a particular person would probably misdirect the main focus of the film. So this, like the sound mixing, is something that I will only come to a conclusion on after multiple rewatches. I have to stress that I really do like this kind of cinema. It's cinema that challenges you to keep up, but also one that is meant for the big screen as an experience that is only definable after many revisits. Tenet might even be a film that we can never truly define, similar to Kubrick's 2001 in a way that you just feel what is happening and the audience cherishes that many years later. I'll have to see how I react after I see the film again in the next few days, but they were the main gripes I had with it. Overall, this is Christopher Nolan's most ambitious film. Regardless of the individual perception towards it, he has attempted to achieve something impossible. With its narrative and practicality, it's a film that transcends the laws of time and its linearity, and goes beyond to deliver a cinematic and theatrical experience unlike any other. It's a film that blew me away and also made me dumbfounded over what I just watched. He has again hit the mark that is creatively mesmerising and cerebral, working your mind whilst delivering stunning action and a thrilling approach to its plots to keep you at the edge of your seat. The best way I can end this review is by summing up this experience in one motif. While Inception is an allegory to filmmaking, Christopher Nolan's Tenet is an allegory to film watching. The prologue, with a packed crowd in an opera theatre, very much had this idea placed in my mind right from the beginning. You, as the audience, follow the main character in situations that you are forced to adapt to. Just as the audience enters a screen, watches a film and is transported to within that film, Tenet gets to the idea of this experience. It's almost self-aware in that respect. Tenet is the perfect film to welcome global audiences back to cinemas, a colossal piece that truly showcases Nolan's love for cinema and filmmaking through expressing his long-term affection for the spy genre and the blockbusters he's watched. It encapsulates the originality and theatricality of his blockbuster form, alongside displaying many people's questions towards time as a whole. But that was my spoiler-free review for Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and I look forward to checking the film out again over the next few days and presenting many analysis videos on it in the coming weeks. I'm currently giving the film an 8.5 out of 10, but as I said at the beginning of this video, it's a film that right now I can't give a definitive score on. It's going to change over time and through many revisits. But if any of you guys have seen the film, let me know down below what you thought and whether you agree with some of the points I have raised. I'm looking forward to seeing the vast types of reactions across the board to Christopher Nolan's latest film. Again, for more videos analysing Tenet over the next few weeks, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.